Welcome to the Workflow Workshop. I'm so excited to share with all of you the process that I go through myself, that I take my team through and all of my clients through to get more stuff done and to have more ease in your week while being more productive. So as everyone here is filing in, I just want to share with you that over the past year, I retired from the dating industry and I started a brand new business, and the business of alchemy. And alchemy, at its heart, if you're familiar with alchemy, you know that it is the ability to turn lead into gold. But what I find to be even more amazing, more incredible, more magical is the ability to turn thoughts into real things. And that's why all of us are here today. That's why all of us are here on this planet, is to take our inspiration, take our gifts, take our fantasies, take our imagination, and bring them to the real world. Now, strategies to build your business are out there. There are so many great coaches. There are so many great books. There are so many great courses out there. And somehow, even most of you on here, I've had some type of correspondence with, and you have been in some type of program or course or mastermind, but still not maximizing the amount of results that you get. And it really comes down to one word, which is follow through. And if you can build a system of which you can follow through with the strategies and the intentions that you have for your business is inevitably going to be successful. All that matters is time. And what I'm going to show you here today is a little bit deceptive, because as humans, when we struggle with something, our minds tell us that that the solution needs to be as complicated as the problem. And so when the solution is simple to a complicated problem, our brain very often disregards it. But what I am going to show you here today, if you choose to implement it, is going to change your life forever. They tell you that there's one thing that you cannot buy, which is time, which is true. You cannot buy time in the past, but you can purchase time in the future by being more efficient, by being more streamlined. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that today. Now, before we get started, I want to make sure that we've got everybody in here. We're taking a look at our list, and I'm seeing that we've got a bunch of people in here. Everyone's been sharing where they're calling from. I know that we've got people from all across the world. And for those of you who are watching internationally, thank you for showing up at 4 in the morning, because I know it's 4 in the morning for some of you. Over the past year, I have been obsessed about how to get more done with less, how to be less stressed out in work, and with all of my clients, all of my friends, all of my peers, everyone that I'm in a mastermind with. Everyone has big ideas that sometimes and sometimes not turn into reality. And what I want to show you here today is how to improve and increase your personal power. Now, power by definition, by my definition, is the ability to turn a thought into a result. And the larger and more intense your power is, the shorter amount of time it takes for your thought to become a real thing. And when you implement these very simple processes that I'm going to show you today, and this ritual that I do and my entire Level Up community does every single Sunday, I guarantee you that you will have more time in your week, more freedom, and the ability to get things done. So do not let the simplicity of what I'm about to show you take away from its effectiveness, because it is going to be very, very simple. And all you need to do in order to get the benefits from this training is implement, is to follow through. Now, I've had this conversation and I've done this training with so many individuals, and some people have been like, "Oh my gosh, this is mind blowing," and then not followed through with it. And there are some people that say, "Oh my gosh, this is mind blowing," and actually have followed through with it. And I want to call on Brad Newman. Uh, Brad, are you there, Brad?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can we can hear you. Now this training actually, Brad, was inspired by the conversation that we had. We had a 45-minute conversation and I showed you how I manage my day and how I manage my team of over 20 people and dozens of clients. And you've now been in our Level Up program for what is it now, 2 months?
Almost 3.
Almost 3 months.
Why?
And I would love for you to share with everybody here what you have experienced through the simple frameworks that I'm going to be showing everyone today.
Cool. Yeah. So, hi everyone. My name is Brad Newman. I am an entrepreneur, an intrapreneur. I help people grow businesses. I hit sales targets. That's where I, Jackie, my girlfriend over here, is laughing. Um, Give me a 1 in the chat if you've been an entrepreneur in the online space for over a year. For over a year, you've been an entrepreneur in the digital environment. Okay. So then what you're about to see tonight is like when I first saw it was like the blessing that I was waiting for, not even knowing that I needed it. When I connected with Spencer back in July, I had 2 businesses with my girlfriend Jackie, who's here now, and those businesses ended up imploding. And it was like a really, really tough time. Like we couldn't get anything done. We couldn't get on the same path. We couldn't execute. I always felt things were taking too much time. Um, I always felt stressed out. I felt burnt out. I'm diagnosed with bipolar and depression, and I'm in recovery from addiction. And like my emotional stability was lacking in my business and my entrepreneurship. And that is like what was represented constantly. I could like generate a shit ton of revenue once, and then it would just crumble back down to zero. And like I just couldn't like sustain it. I thought it was like my emotions, my emotional mastery, all the things. And then I hopped on the phone with Spencer because that's what I actually shared this exact thing on a coaching call inside of the same program we were in. And he's like, let me show me, I'll show you mine if you let me show me yours. And what he was talking about was like his calendar and his workflow system. And I was at a point where I was looking for like any solutions to figure out like, why did I implode another business? Why wasn't I able to execute on what I wanted to execute? I had these grand visions of what I thought possible to be in my business, but for some reason, like I couldn't coordinate. I couldn't rally the troops. Something just wasn't working. And so he showed me what he had. And it was, if you're in the consciousness of the digital environment, um, I instantly knew, I was like, that was the reason why all my businesses have failed, because I couldn't take my ideas and like my multiple ideas all the time that constantly stream, the constant breakdowns in the business that are happening all at once every single day. And I couldn't organize them, plan them, and execute on them quickly enough to keep up with the flow of it. So I would only be able to do launches, stop for months, because I was just like winging it. So coming inside a Level Up, I got to know about myself more than I've ever in any type of like personal development. It's like the ultimate personal development because I was mastering my relationship with what I thought was time. I started mastering my relationship with integrity. I started uncovering my fear, my deep-seated fears of commitments. I got in relationship with like, what does it mean to quit things? What does it mean to take care of myself? What does it mean to follow through and like really be held accountable and have like support to be able to do that? Like this was like the experience that I wish I had as soon as I came into this online entrepreneurship, because I've joined 10K programs, 20K programs, 30K programs. I get on a coaching call and they're like, do all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's a great idea, but how do I execute on that? And yeah. And ultimately, what I realized for me, and I'll just wrap it up with this because I can make this into the Brad Newman show, just like Spencer can make it into the Spencer Burnett show. Ultimately, I was in my cycling with my bipolar has gotten way more stable. I haven't been depressed in over 90 days because I have like really methodical, structured way to like show up to the world. I've actually been more aligned, more efficient, more effective, the and just overall happier. Like my girlfriend Jackie's here. I bought this for her because I'm like, you have to see this. And she was the one that like I imploded the business with 90 days ago. And I give my thank you to Spencer, my testimony for you, Spencer, of like showing me this and allowing me to like be by your guidance to help me execute this and like follow through this in my life because like now my capacity today I'm running I'm practically running 70% of $3 million business right now and like my capacity to perform and be productive and just execute on things has grown to the point where like I actually have true vision. I feel safe in having true vision for my life. I was so afraid because I knew I didn't trust myself. I wouldn't execute on it. So what's the point of setting a new goal? Um, and like, dude, this Sam, Josh, Spencer, Cam is here. Dude, I just love you all. And so I'm just really excited for everyone. Thanks for letting me share. I love you, Spence.
Dude, thanks, Brad. And I remember our conversation. The heart of it was in managing the emotions and the roller coaster, the bipolar roller coaster that you experienced. And I made a commitment to you that once you follow through with this, I guarantee that your highs are gonna stay longer and your lows are gonna dip not as low, and they're not gonna be there as long. And I've watching your progress over the past few months, dude, and watching you blossom and your excellence be expressed has been inspirational not only to me, but I know to our entire team. So no matter where you're at in your business right now, I know that some of you on here are doing $1 million months, and some of you on here are just starting out. What I wanted to do was to, out of all of my programs and all of the offers from my enterprise, where I come in and I work with your entire company to help build a workflow and communication system, to my one-on-one legacy program, to our level up group program that Brad was talking about, into our flow state program, which essentially is like all the really deep trainings that takes this workflow to a whole nother level. No matter where you are, this training here is the deduction of everything that I saw that was in common with everybody. But moving beyond this point of what I'm going to show you here today, you may need some further support. So I'm going to drop a link here. If you go to spencerburnett.com/apply, you can set up a time for you to have a 45-minute conversation with me so we could talk about working on a deeper level if that's something that you're called to do. Nevertheless, what you get out of today, I want to encourage you to use on a weekly basis. And when you do that, it will absolutely change the way that you work, the way that you communicate, and your overall experience of how you operate in your business. So often, we create businesses so we don't have to have a job, but then become like engulfed in this self-imposed prison that is our business, and it feels more work than a 9 to 5. And that's what I want to help you get out of right now. So when it comes to workflow, there is the main concept of it is, how do you take the complex strategy of marketing, operations, accounting, sales, and delivery, and bring it down into a prioritized linear timeline so you can just show up every single day and execute. Now, there's a number of ways that your mind can mess with you in interfering with your workflow. And for those of you who follow my work, I'll speak about it in terms of 1D, 2D, and 3D time. 1D time, and by D I mean dimension. One dimension of time is presence, how you feel in the moment. And if you're not feeling clear in the moment, if you're constantly having thoughts and emotions interfere with whatever it is that you're focused on, it's going to be constantly pulling you away. So I'm going to be showing you we're going to be going through a ritual that helps you get presence in the moment, because if your presence is interfered with, it doesn't matter how elaborate your plan is, or how robust your team is, or how good your product is. If your presence is interrupted, then you are not going to be effective. So that's one of the first things that we're going to cover. The next thing is process, going from point A to point B, how to take a task and bring it to completion. And there's a lot of things that can interfere with that as well. And so I'm going to be showing you how to master the process. And then finally, the third dimension of time. So we've got presence, the moment, we've got process, point A to point B, and then we've got the plan, which is all of the options that you have to get from point A to point B. And this is where we get inundated with Facebook ads and marketing messages and other trainings of try a 5-day challenge, try a 1-day workshop, try group coaching, try a mastermind, try this. And we get confused as to like, okay, there are many options to get to your end result. How do you manage that? And then when you choose one, there's many options to execute that. And so I'm going to show you how to master that as well. So if you guys are, if everybody is ready to get going, I would like to take you through the experience of weekly imprinting that I do in our Level Up group every single Sunday. The next 60 minutes is going to be an experience. So when you get this replay, this is something that you can open up and watch and implement into your life every single Sunday. And when you do this, you are guaranteed to be more efficient, effective, and happy throughout your week. So is everybody ready to go through the weekly imprinting experience? I've been super stoked all day long, and more than all day long, to take you all through this, what we go through to really get ourselves centered. And by the time we're done, everything's gonna be plug and play. I've got templates for all of you, and you're gonna be able to implement this into your life by the end of this training. All right, everyone is ready. Okay. Step one, I want everyone to shut off their phones. The human focus is singular. We can only pay attention to one thing at a time. And so when we receive notifications, lights popping up, dings and bings, and little red dots with numbers on them on your phone, it is a distraction. Distraction is the enemy of efficiency. So everyone shut off your phone. And if you're watching this on your phone, shut off your computer. Singular attention. Next, I want everybody to shut off every application that you have going on your computer right now. Everything except for the thing that you need. And then finally, I want you to shut down every tab except for the one that you are watching it on right now. If this was the only thing you implemented, this investment would have been worth it. Your ability to focus on a singular task and bring it to completion is the most powerful attribute that you can have. Technology does the rest. They asked Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, what is the most important attribute that a human can have? And they both said focus, and then got back to work. So clear everything, create space for yourself to fully give yourself the only thing that you truly own, which is your attention. Everything in your life is a byproduct of where you put your attention. That of which gets attention grows, and that of which is ignored withers. And if this is important to you, if any task is important to you, then it deserves your full, undivided, singular attention. Next step is for us to get centered. So I'm going to take you through a breathing technique that I use not only in our Sunday weekly imprinting for Level Up, but I use any time that there is an important task that I feel overwhelmed with. And it gets you centered, and it gives you space in your mind and in your emotions, because that's where everything ever created in the history of anything started in your imagination, started in your mind. And so what we're going to do is we're going to clear our mind. So here's how we do this. We're going to start with what's called ocean wave breathing, where we breathe fully in and then just let it fall out of your body. We're going to do a few iterations of that. And then we're going to go into what's called box breathing. This is a breathing technique that the Navy SEALs use, that I learned from one of my mentors, Kai Van Bodhi. And in this box breathing, we're gonna inhale, we're gonna pause, we're gonna exhale, and then we're gonna hold, pause, and we're gonna keep going into this cycle. Now, as you inhale, I want you to close your eyes, and you can keep your eyes open. And I want the imagery in your mind as you inhale that you are inhaling pure white light. All of the wisdom and information that the universe has to offer is being entered into your body. As we do the hold, I want you to imagine all of the information necessary for you in this next week to be absorbed into your consciousness. As we breathe out, I want you to imagine every thought, every emotion being released and pushed away from you, giving yourself space. And then at the bottom, when we hold, I want you to observe the wide, clear space that you've created. I often see it as like a sandbox that is a mile in each direction, where you have ultimate space to play with no worries. Because ultimately, that's what creation is. It's play. So we're going to start with some ocean wave breathing, and then I'm gonna bring us into the box breathing. So you just close your eyes, fully breathe in. Breathe in. And as you're breathing, simply just notice your breath. The air going in your lungs. All the carbon dioxide is being pushed out back into the world. Just noticing your body, your posture, and the simple breath. Next, I want to take you through box breathing. So we're gonna inhale when I say inhale, and you can go ahead and watch the screen. We're about to inhale right now. Hold. Hold. Inhale. All of the white light, all of the wisdom of the universe. Hold it and absorb everything that is required for you to be excellent this week. Exhale. All your thoughts and emotions, both positive and negative, release them. Then hold and observe the space that you've created. In, take in the wisdom. Hold. Absorb the truth that you require. Breathe out. All thoughts, positive and negative. Hold. Observe the space that you've created. In. Hold. Out. Hold. One more round. Fully in. Breathe all in all that white light. Hold and absorb everything that is required. You already have everything that you need. Breathe out all thoughts and emotions, both positive and negative. Create space. Observe the space that you've created. Awesome. Great work. If you guys want the app that I just used for the breathing technique, you can go to spencerburnett.com/breathe and do iterations of 5 seconds apiece. How does everybody feel? You feel centered? You feel clear? Okay. The next step is reflection, taking a look back on the previous week. And there are 6 questions to ask yourself to reflect on the success of your week. And I would love for you to interact and put it in the chat what your number is. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much joy did you experience last week? How much happiness did you experience last week? I'm seeing everything from a 10, a 6, a 5. Here's the value of this measure. Ask yourself, what is it? Let's say you were a 6. Ask yourself, what is it that happened in the previous week that brought me joy? Your mastery is in direct proportion to the detail that you deem to be significant. And so the more nuance of joy that you can observe, recall, and appreciate, the more masterful you become of being joyful. And no matter how brilliant you are, your creations are consumed in the energy of which they are created. And so the first question we ask is, how much joy did you experience? Because it is the most important measure. This shit should be fun. Work should not be stressful. It should be play. Now, on the other hand, if you were a 6, there's this gap between 6 and 10. What is it that you could have done last week that could have generated more joy? What this does is it appreciates the success that you had last week, and it also projects the opportunities that you have for the next week to have joy. Both positive and negative emotions have value. Positive emotions are meant to be celebrated and amplified and repeated. Negative emotions are objectively just a tap on the shoulder to tell you, hey, there's an opportunity to do better, to do something different. The next question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how closely did you follow your calendar? Now, at this point in the reflection process, open up your calendar and take a look at last week and see what you scheduled, and did you actually follow through with what you intended? Your calendar is the most important workflow tool that you have. It's simply just a ledger of where you intend to put your attention throughout time. And when you have a proper plan, then all that matters is execution. And so if you're anything less than a 10, you don't need to be seeking out new information. You just need to be following through. Now, if it's less than a 10, ask yourself, what is it that got in my way from being a 10? So maybe you got distracted, or maybe you scheduled to write a post and you scheduled an hour for it, but it really took 2 hours, so it leaked into some other things. Every mistake is an opportunity to recalibrate, to improve your workflow, and this is why we visit this every single week. Next question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how productive were you? How much output did your efforts create? So often we put in a 10 out of 10 in effort, but the output is actually, I'm seeing here, a 7, a 9, a 3, a 6. When you are in your absolute best in workflow, your effort and productivity levels are exactly the same. 10 units of effort and 10 units of productivity. And again, the disparity between the number that you have and 10, ask yourself, what is it that stood in my way? Now, if you're a 9, ask yourself, what is it that empowered me to be so productive? Every reflection in life, there's one of two ways to manage it: amplify or polarize. Either do more of this or I got to do the opposite of this. And improvement starts with awareness. And awareness is impossible without presence. That's why we start by getting ourselves centered in breath and ask ourselves these awareness questions. Next, last week, what attribute did you embody that you are most proud of? Was it courage? Was it kindness? Was it tenacity? What attributes could you stamp onto your shirt and said, yes, this was me, that you were really proud of? Humility, ownership, helpfulness, consistency, perseverance, curiosity, compassion, resilience. This is beautiful. Boundaries, yeah, that's a really good efficiency. And ask yourself, what is it that happened this week that allowed me to embody this attribute? Because ultimately it's the attributes and the emotions that create our creations. Next, what action did you take last week? Just choose one that you are the most proud of. Courage, breakthrough, excellence happens in moments. Excuse me. Happens in moments. It's not something consistently throughout the day. There are these blips of excellence. So what action did you take that you are so proud of? As you do this on a weekly basis, these actions are going to get more and more courageous. They're going to get more and more leveraged. That of which gets attention grows, that of which is ignored dies. And that's why this sacred space is so important, because we're giving ourselves what we're constantly giving to other people and other things, which is our attention. Next, what outcome did you produce that you are most proud of? Because a lot of times you can take bold action, right? Courageous action, integritous action, and not get the result that you want. But sometimes you do. So, what is it? What outcome did you produce last week that you are most proud of? I want to see it here in the chat. These are designed, the first three questions are designed to be reflections. The next three questions are the attribute, the action, the outcome are designed to be celebrations. We work so hard on grinding and hustling and doing our best to stay present into that. But presence in celebration is what gives us that dopamine hit, that gives us that cookie, that pat on the head, the way to go, that actually fuels us to move forward. On some level, we're all animals that are just seeking validation and those dopamine hits. So it is so worth your time to take a few moments, to celebrate your excellence before we start chopping up, what needs to be fixed. All right. So the next portion of this is reflecting on your calendar. And this is what we call reconciling your calendar. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you my actual calendar. Okay. So let's imagine that it is Sunday, the 25th here, and I'm reflecting on my week. The very first thing that that you do is take a look at what you had scheduled for the last week, starting from Saturday and moving all the way to Monday, and ask yourself, did I do what I stated that I was going to do here? This is how we into integrity. So there's two ways to hit a bullseye. One, throw a dart just perfectly, or two, throw a dart anywhere and then just move the board. One way or another, you hit the center. In integrity, your intentions, commitments, and actions being the same thing is the foundation of personal trust, which is the foundation of the building of your business. If if you can't trust yourself, your team can't trust you, your clients can't trust you, your mentors can't trust you, and the infrastructure of what you've built through your efforts and your brilliance crumbles to the ground. So integrity is the first priority of everything. So we're going to take a look at this, and I actually had to put in tasks here because my calendar gets reconciled every day. I literally go through a little mini version of this of reconciling my calendar every single day. It's part of my end of day routine. Did I do what I intended to do? So let's say here that that this task here was like, oh, I didn't do this task. Okay. There's a certain level of like a little bit of shame that's associated like when you don't follow through. That shame is important because it calls attention to this task needing to be done. So what you do is you go into your calendar and you simply just place it on Sunday. And so this task, let's say, oh, I didn't do this task here. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to move it to Sunday. And then this task here, I didn't do it either. And I'm going to move it to Sunday. Anything else? Now here's another like a little bit more of an advanced thing that I highly suggest that all of you do. Let's say you did do something, but it wasn't at the time that you allocated it for. For instance, I actually left the seven figure CEO training early to prepare for the workflow workshop. So I'm going to change that. When you retroactively, yeah, it's a word, um, uh, adjust your calendar effectively, you are getting yourself back into integrity. I see Andrew kind of giving me garbage about missing the call. Sorry, homie. This is important training. So next, the next step is going into going into your next week, and now you see that these tasks have been put onto Sunday, and now I need to find a time to do these tasks. Okay, so Monday I'll do this here. I'll do this one on Wednesday, and I will do this one on Thursday. This reconciliation of your calendar is what guarantees that nothing slips through the cracks. If something doesn't get done, like, you're human. It happens. The key is to acknowledge it. By acknowledging it, there's gonna be a little bit of pain there, forgiving it, and choosing a new way. Acknowledge, forgive, choose a new way. And when you can get into that rhythm and build the emotional and cognitive muscle to do this, the way that you naturally deal with things slipping through the cracks, things not turning out the way that you wanted them to, you're able to handle that at a much quicker speed and with much more ease. So now that I've like reconciled last week to this week, now it's time to plan for this week. And here is how we do that. I'm going to give everybody a link. It is spencerburnett.com/project board. There you go. And what you'll see is our project board. I'm going to give you the 101 version of this to start. A lot of you may be thinking, especially those of you that have bigger businesses or have more team, this thing is completely scalable. But in order to scale, you need to perfect things yourself and then scale and then duplicate perfection throughout your organization. So it starts with you. So when I work with people that have multiple team members and the whole team the whole team's workflow is a mess, I don't go in and just and work with everyone. I work with the leader first and get them straight, because you've got to take the plank out of your eye before you start going and taking specks out of other people's eyes. Thank you, Josh, for doing that. So this project board is very simple. At this point in the process, what you want to do is you want to go into your task queue and write down every task that you need to do. Now, task is an objective term. It is merely an outcome that needs to be had in order for you to move your life, your business forward. And keep in mind, in this board, you are not only putting in business stuff, but you also put in personal stuff, because entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. It is an integration of work, life, play, relationships. And when we compartmentalize those things is when we start getting pulled apart. The intention is for us to integrate all of those things into one consistent flow, so we can just wake up in the morning and take action on the things that we intended to do. So in your task queue, you want to dump everything that's on your mind. When you're overwhelmed, you sit at your desk in the morning and you feel like there's a million things to do and you don't even know where to start. It's a matter of poor action planning. And 90% of the time when you're stressed out you're stressed out, 90% of the time it is a matter of properly action planning. So how do you fill out this queue? So any assignment that you have been given, any inspiration that you have, oh, this would be a great idea if I did this. Any responsibility that you have goes in this queue. And then another one is stepping in another perspective to find tasks to put into the queue is to ask yourself, what is stressing me out the most? Immediately when I work with one of our members of Level Up and they feel overwhelmed, I ask, what are you stressed out about? And we put it into this queue. So I'm actually going to go in and show you guys my board. Don't know why I was logged out. Here we go. For those of you that work with me, were you nervous that I wasn't going to know the password? All right. So now we're taking a look at our week that we have, and we're asking ourselves, what is the most important thing that we need to do, or that I personally need to do? So one of those things might be to follow up with attendees of Workflow Workshop, which I will be following up with all of you. Workshop. I need to learn how to create custom offers in Infusionsoft. I need to do payroll. I need to pay bills. I need to write a promotion email for Flow State, our program. this, you can like, this can be also personal things like, pick up dry cleaning. I need to cancel um, Nom Nom. Kind of makes me sad. I just had to put my dog down, and that was his food service, and I've got to cancel that. Okay, and you continue down this path for 15-20 minutes until your mind is completely exhausted. So here's how overwhelm works. Overwhelm happens when there are too many open loops in the mind. When the mind sees that something needs to be done, has an idea, an inspiration, a worry, it's thinking three things: duration, outcome, duration, and path. And if those three things are not addressed, it will continue to spin in your head over and over and over again. And so when this happens 100 times of like these very little things, it takes up bandwidth in your brain. Now, your brain is designed to do two things: generate thoughts and remember thoughts. In this day and age, we are inundated with so much information that it is actually impossible to remember everything that you need to do. So the classic to-do list, where you'd write it down on a list and just cross it off, that worked in 1950 when they only had a couple hundred bits of distractions every single day. But we live in 2020, and there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, of distracting opportunities for our brains to be digesting. So, and especially if you want to run a scaled business, there are so many moving pieces that it needs to be attributed for. So, similar to the way that I shared with you that your calendar is a ledger of where you intend to put your attention over time, this helps you with the process, the point A to point B. Okay. And then the plan, all of the different opportunities, all of the different methods, all the different sales and marketing and operations and follow through and attending to all of your clients is swirling in your head. As soon as it is accounted for, the brain starts to ease up on itself. I like to use technology as an extension of the way that I naturally function rather than a box of which I'm trying to work in. And that's why this board here, you can use Asana, Airtable, you can use Monday or whatever project management system that you want. It's the framework that matters. So for those of you that got this got the template, you can simply just recreate this in Asana. Brad, I believe you use Asana and you recreated this in your program. Okay. So once you have this list of things to do, okay, we've got all of the different options of the plan, all the different things that you need to do. Now we need to put them into priority. So when you're looking at your task queue, ask yourself, what is the most important thing that I need to do in order to move my business forward this week? This is what we call a critical task. Okay. So the follow up with attendees in the workflow workshop is important. Definitely got to do payroll. Learn how to create custom offers in Infusionsoft. Don't necessarily need to do that. Got to pick up the dry cleaning, and I need to write a promotional email for Flow State. Now, if you have something that is going to take you less than 15 minutes, then what you want to do is you want to put it into this simple tasks here. I need to pick a bonus, which I've picked a bonus already, but I haven't told you guys yet. And so in these simple tasks, these are all things that take less than 15 minutes. When you are, and I'm going to show you how to schedule simple tasks in a moment here. Once you have all of the critical tasks that are the things that need to get done this week, the next question that you ask yourself is, how long is this going to take? Follow up with attendees in workflow workshop. So we had dozens and dozens and dozens of you, come to this workshop. And so that's probably going to take me It's probably going to take me 90 minutes of focused work. Here's where a lot of overwhelm comes from is the mistake right here. If it's going to take you 90 minutes, you usually give yourself 90 minutes. A lot of times when we ask ourselves, like, how long is this going to take? The feedback that I get from people is like, oh, I could get that done in an hour. I could get that done in an hour. Could, under the circumstance that you are at absolute 100% focused, high performance in flow state. Here's the reality. Most of the time you're not. And that's okay. Your monsters and your distractions interfering with what you're doing on a day-to-day issue are part of your life. Not only should you accept it, you should invite it in by the way that you plan. So if following up with all of you for this workflow workshop is going to take me 90 minutes, I'm going to give myself 2 hours to do that. Create space. Work should be fun. If I was managing another person and doing this for them, and it's like, you need to get this done in an hour, I would instantly create pressure, which would create pain, which ultimately creates resentment, and then it creates avoidance. You need to be the manager of yourself. I originally, when I first started my company, I hired a project manager, and it was the wrong move. I needed to learn how to manage myself so I could show a project manager how to manage me. And that is the purpose of this workflow workshop. That's why it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you're doing 7-figure months. Like, managing yourself is the number one thing, and you can't hire someone to manage you unless you already know how to manage yourself. I've gone into multiple companies and implemented project management systems. And the number one reason that project management systems fail is because they bring in a system and try to fit the entrepreneur into it. As all of you know, as entrepreneurs, that doesn't work. We are wild stallions that behave the way that we choose to behave. So we don't want to knock down the forest to build the city. We want to build amongst the trees, right? And so the way to do it is to build a system around yourself, and then invite team members or invite team members to join you in the way that you manage yourself. That is how you scale your workflow, which in turn scales your company. All right. So next, how long is payroll going to take me? 30 minutes, but you know what? I'm going to give myself an hour for that. How long is dry cleaning, picking up the dry cleaning going to take? That's just right down the street. It's going to take me 20 minutes, but I'm going to give myself a half hour for that. And then write a promotional email for Flow State. It really should take me an hour, but I'm severely dyslexic, and so it takes more time. And so I create space for it. I create space for my dyslexia to annoy me while creating copy. And when I'm in that moment, when I'm in that time box, and writing for me is very difficult, I go through the same process of my Osho wave breathing and my box breathing, taking all thoughts, both positive and negative, and pushing them aside, and absorbing from infinite wisdom what it is that is required for me in the next 2 hours in order for me to be successful. Anytime that you have something that's very stressful, go into that same presence breath work that we did at the beginning. So the next part is like, okay, now I know that I've got to do these things this week. And of course, your week may be busier, but for the sake of time, and I'm just showing you this example, we're now going to move it into scheduled. So I'm going to copy this 2 hours to follow up with attendees. And I will let's keep the sake of the example here, go into this week. I will do that on Monday. Great. Now the next thing, payroll. It's going to take me an hour. Copy. I'll do payroll here. Now, a lot of times people will ask me, Spencer, is there a way to automate this where I can just click it and it goes onto my calendar? The answer is yes. And then the next question is, can you show me how? And the answer is no, because there's value in ritual. Rituals are the practices that get us committed to being in our excellence. If you look at any professional basketball player, when they shoot a free throw, they do the same thing every time. Drop, 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 spin, drop, up, whatever it is, a professional golfer, any type of athlete, there is a ritual, and that ritual is designed to get you committed to being fully in the process of taking the process of taking the tasks from critical to to the calendar is a sacred process. My favorite quote, if you've seen any of my stuff from Abraham Lincoln, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree. I'll spend 4 hours sharpening my blade. This only takes an hour. And it's for your entire week. Now, if you notice here, I've got different colors here, right? And if you open up the color palette here, you'll notice that you've got a dozen different colors. And so I use these colors uniquely for me. And in our flow state program and in Level Up, we have a standard way of which we use these colors. I use red for my client work because it's designed to like be like a stop sign, a warning, like I do not miss client work ever, right? And then you've got light blue. This is when I'm doing a presentation to my group. So it's like your paid group, but it's a presentation. Blue is for business. So anytime that you're working on your business, it's blue. So lavender is when I'm doing like a promotional training. So when I did the beating burnout addiction for Andrew Cruzy, or for Marianne, or for Cam, or for Alexander, I make that lavender when it's promotional stuff. Purple, or grape, I don't know why they call it grape. Grape is purple is for personal time. Like this purple is a very like sacred color. This is like time for you to rejuvenate. So you can see here I have ARX, which is my workout. That's purple. Meditations are purple. Anything that's like life giving to you is purple. The graphite is anything that is for you that's personal, but that isn't necessarily like life giving. Going to the movies, for instance, would be graphite. Green is when you have a sales opportunity. Light green is when you have a connection call. It may turn into opportunities of partnerships or sales, but there's no offer being made in that particular segment. Yellow is when you are receiving coaching. So you can see that I'm part of Seven Figure CEO, and I've got it there. Andrew, I'll be there all 90 minutes next week. Orange is your critical task. And we're gonna cycle back to critical task in just one moment. Pink is your personal time, the time you have with your family, your friends, your loved ones, your lovers. And then again, red is the client work. Now, if you take a look at my calendar here, you can see that it's black. And for those of you that don't know how to change this, you simply just go add custom color, and you just make it black. The reason I choose it to be black is because when someone books a call with me, it automatically shows up as black, and I can see it and decipher what it is that task is. So these colors are really important because when I take a look at my week, I know exactly what energy I need to show up in, because the energy that I show up in when I am giving coaching is very different than when I'm receiving coaching. The brain is a meaning making machine. So whenever you are experiencing anything, the brain is trying to sort it out, trying to make sense of it. It's trying to categorize it. And the more you can do for your mind to categorize something as you're working throughout your day or your week, the more beneficial it is to sorting out your mind so you're experiencing less chaos. So I know that if there's a lot of, blue stuff on here, like I'm working on my business a lot in the next couple days, and I've got some client calls. Now, the way that you build your calendar, this is a separate conversation. We go through this in the flow state program of building an ideal calendar, a way that if you had it completely your way, how would you live? For me personally, on Sunday, I give myself a space to action plan. That's like my planning day. Monday, I do management things. Tuesday, I do client work. Wednesday, I do marketing. Thursday, I do copywriting. And then Friday, I do like really whatever the heck I want to do. That's kind of like my spillover time. That's how I'm able to work 35 hours a week and continually grow and expand my business and support my team, my clients, and and my family as well. So that, there's lots of responsibilities that you have. So like when you build in space, you're able to have time for all of the things that are necessary for you. So back to the orange, the critical tasks. This is really important. So this right here, following up with the attendees of the workflow workshop, for any of you that are in the digital marketing space, like that follow up is important. That is really important. So every single day, you have one task, one critical task, one thing that is orange in your calendar that is non-negotiable. This is the thing that you overcommit to. This is the thing that if you have an accountability partner or you're part of our level up group, you do an accountability post. I'll share that with you in a second that you put, and there's only one a day. A big mistake that I see with people in their workflows is I take a look at their calendar and everything is orange. And if everything is critical, you're going to burn yourself out. When I take a look at the single critical thing that I need to do, the most important thing of the day, what happens is your willpower gets activated. Your grind mechanism gets activated, which is fantastic. Your willpower is responsible for about like 10 to 20% of your effort or of your outcomes for every day. And it is a limited resource. If you're using it too much, you will burn out. And if you try to fight it, you will lose. And that's just how it goes. Or something will crumble. Maybe your business is going great, but you feel pain, throughout the day, or you're exhausted, or you can't sleep, or a number of other things. You don't have time for family, and so you choose one thing that is non-negotiable. I will get this done. When you are religious to your single critical task during the day, even if everything else falls apart, your business will still move forward. Imagine, I want you to think of like 5 tasks that are the most critical things that you need to do that you need to do in your business, and then imagine that it is guaranteed to be done. What does your business look like? Now do that 100 times, and that's what your business looks like in 3 weeks. If this is a non-negotiable and it absolutely gets done and everything else crumbles, you will still be moving forward. This is how you hold on this is how you hold on to productivity even in the midst of a storm. Over the past 2 weeks, I had to go to a wedding, shaman a medicine journey, fly back here, take care of a very sick dog, put my dog down, grieve, and then had to execute the biggest launch our company has ever had. And because I had this workflow system, absolutely nothing slipped through the cracks. No relationships were broken. Nobody got pissed off. There were no miscommunications because myself, my team, and all of my clients operate on this workflow system that is stringent but flexible as well. Because if I can't do this, if I can't do this right promotional flow state for the promotional emails for flow state, if it's Monday and I'm like, I just can't do this, I'm so exhausted, or this thing came up, my mom called and she needs me to go to the house or something, that's okay. I will just make a new agreement. You always have the opportunity to make a new agreement, but be sure that you do. And if you don't make that new agreement, then on Sunday the next week, you'll see, oh, I was supposed to do this on Monday. I didn't do it. It still gets done. But now instead of it being done on Wednesday from being preemptive, it's now done the next week and you lose time. In this day and age of business, days matter. Moments matter. Things move super fast. And those who move the fastest are the ones that win. Back in the day, it was work hard. Then it was work smart. Now it's work hard, work smart, work fast. And that's why this is so important, because it empowers you to turn a thought into a result in a short amount of time that's predictable. And so this is the way that you operate. This is the way that you operate your calendar. Now, when you after you are, you go into your next week, right, and you reconcile your calendar again, you also need to make sure that your Trello board or your project board is reconciled as well. Is everything in this scheduled task here, or this scheduled list here, is this all scheduled? Yes. Okay. Is everything in this simple task, like, is everything where it needs to be? A lot of times we experience a lot of overwhelm because the project board is not reconciled. So you need to make sure before you do your action planning that you reconcile your calendar, and then also take a look at your project board and make sure that everything is relevant. So learn how to create custom offers in Infusionsoft. I don't really need to do that, so I can put that in the backlog. Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit more of an overview of this of this board before we go into the next section, to show you how robust that this is, and simple and linear. So once something is completed, do payroll, which I already did payroll, so I can keep that in there. It's now in the complete list. Someone once asked me, when do you delete things out of this complete list? Never. These are my celebrations. These are my wins. These are the things that I'm proud of. These are the outcomes that I created. Like, I'll never erase anything out of this. What's next is you see this task or outsource list. I call it my shit list. All the shit I don't want to do. And I take a look at the things that are completed, and I ask myself, what do I never want to do again? Okay. I never want to do payroll again. Nipun can do that, you know? I don't want to write an email ever again. I don't want to set up meeting cadences. Someone else can manage that. This outsource list now becomes the job description of your next hire. This is how you start to scale. After that, we have what are called monkey boards. Now, the concept of monkey management I got from Alexander Ford from Measurable Genius, who is our management company, and they shared with us, like, whenever there's a task, there needs to be somebody that owns it, someone that it is theirs. So if there's something that is on the list that would be right level up call emails. You know what? Cam is my head copywriter, so Cam's going to do that. And so I've got a monkey board for everyone on my team, for my copywriter, for my management team, for my level up coach, for my flow state coach, for my my sales coach. Brad, you got nothing on your monkey board. That's how you know that you're on your shit. Um, and to everybody else, if something is on your monkey board, that doesn't mean you didn't do it. It means that it's pending. Tribe of Buyers, the mastermind that I'm a part of, a 7-figure CEO, my salesperson, my networking person, my accountant, my health coach, my graphic designer. So anytime that you're going through, if you've got a big team, you're going through your queue, and it's super overwhelming, just start moving things to other people's lists. And then when you have your one-on-one conversation with them, then you're saying, hey, here's what we need to talk about now. This is so effective that the monthly management meeting that I have with my management company is scheduled for 75 minutes. We did it in 20 minutes. Our monthly meeting for my internal team is scheduled for 2 hours. There are times that it's done in under 15 minutes because I have my list like this, and everyone else on my team has it as well. Every one of my clients has it as well. I literally can see what every single one of my clients is up to. So those of you that are coaches, the number one problem, the number one reason your clients fail is because they don't follow through. So many times I would ask people like, what did you do all week? We set a plan and you come back and we're talking about the same damn thing. What did you do? Like, what's on deck? What is scheduled? I literally can go into whoever's board that I want to go into and see exactly what they're up to. And so that's how you use this board. So once everything is reconciled, and you've taken all the thoughts, all of the worries, all the inspirations of your task list, and you've moved it into critical, moved it into scheduled. Now all you need to do is show up and be present. That's it. There are a I can so as this scales, and if you're dealing with a team, I can show you how to scale this. Like, book a call with me. Josh, you can drop the link again, spencerburnett.com/apply. uh there are so many things going on. Like, eventually each project has its own board. Each one of the, I mean, I could show you, but there's tons of boards that I have. There are so many tasks going on in my organization. And right now, as I'm here with you, this is the only thing that exists in my universe. And then when it's time for me to step out of the time box, I can go in and address those things. And that in being present, and Brad, you had said this the other day in one of our meetings, like, when have you ever bought from somebody that, like, wasn't present and, like, excited and in a good mood? Like, this stuff translates in every single thing that you do, but none of the workflow wasn't taught. When we got assignments at school, it was like, do this, it's due on Friday. Good luck. Like, how how is that managed? We were never taught this. And this is a very, like, simplistic way to make sure that absolutely nothing slips through the cracks. There was one last thing that I wanted to share before we go into the next section, which is simple tasks. The way to schedule simple tasks is you stack up a bunch of things that take 15 minutes or less, and then you simply just schedule them. Simple tasks. Go into your list, start from the top, work your way down. There are two different types of ways that this can go wrong: by being too vague or being too precise. And there are some people, when it comes to tasks, they're like, oh, I need to pay this bill, and then they've got another task right here, and then it's cook food. I don't know whatever. And this is the way that their calendar looks like 30-minute time boxes. So here's what I have found to be true: every single time box is a switch of attention. There is an energetic cost to switching your attention. And it typically takes a human mind about, like, 5 or 10 minutes to actually, like, get into the zone. And if you get pulled away, it takes another 5 or 10 minutes for you to get back into that. You're losing time, you're losing energy. Now, let's say you're working and you're in the time box. We're in the workflow workshop right now, and I get an idea. So I'm working, typing away. That is actually how I work. Typing away, and I'm like, oh, I need to I need to purchase that course. And it just dawned on me: I'm not gonna break my flow and buy that course or send that email or whatever came across my mind. Allow yourself to get distracted, or allow yourself to go on a tangent 1 degree and then get back. So what I do is if I'm working, I'm like, oh, I got to send that email to Tom. I go into my list and I'm like, send email to Tom. And then I get back to what I was doing. That way, nothing slips through the cracks, and you're able to capture all the thoughts in your head, place them somewhere, and like it will be taken care of later when you do your action planning. And the amount of the oh geez, this is stressing me out already. Uh, the amount of stress that is relieved when something is accounted for is the equivalent to that task actually being done. It's a really weird mind trick that our head plays with us. So once you have reconciled your calendar, reconciled your project board, and you've gone in and do your action planning, write everything that needs to be done in the queue, move it over to critical, make sure that it is scheduled and or it's delegated to where it needs to go. And now you've got your calendar. Now all you need to do is show up and press play. But there's something that might creep in the way, because here's what I know to be true. When it comes to critical tasks, there's usually some interference in the way. And so write promotional email for flow state. Leaving that up to me to sit down and write an email, there's a lot of interference that can come in that way. And this is where we start to use frames. Now, I'm not going to go into the depths of how to like reframe your mind or go through this process. I actually have a free training in our Facebook group. It's called Reframe, and you can find it in the unit section of our Facebook group of how I create frames to support me. So a lot of times you get this like self-doubt of like of this task. So when you look at your week, you ask yourself, what monster might interfere with my important tasks? And then what can I tell myself that will support me in executing that task? So I might think to myself, like, okay, I'm going to write a promotion for our flow state program, which is like this workflow workshop on steroids. Like it goes through all of the, setup, mindset, language, whole thing. And I'm just like, like, I feel like I'm going to be saying the same thing. I don't know what to write. No one's going to like it. We all have these limiting beliefs. But I create a frame to remind myself, people are going to love my offer. People are going to love my offer. And so when I remind myself of this, and I see this reframe, I think back at the conversations that I've had with other people that really were impacted by the work that I do. And the thing is, like, everyone here, you who is listening, are important. Your work is important. And the reason that you are building a business around your gift is because it's useful to other people. And I'd like to call in. Let me see here. Let's see who's on here. Alicia, are you on here?
Hello.
There you are. So I met Alicia last week or earlier this week.
On Monday.
It has been 2 days.
It's been 2 days.
Yeah, and I got introduced to Alicia through Cam, and she shared with me like the incredible success that you have had over the past 10 months. Going from just starting out to a 7-figure month in 10 months, and was feeling this massive amount of overwhelm. And the reason I wanted to kind of like hear your feedback is because me and you did this workflow process for, for 2 hours, or probably about like an hour and a half of like actual the workflow process. And I want you to share like what your experience was, what the challenges you were having beforehand, and then what you felt afterwards.
Okay, so the funny thing is that we just had that call yesterday, not even 24 hours ago. And like my team members are here also in the workshop, like Dana and Jennifer. And they can already tell that I'm so much calmer. And I was very aggressive these last weeks. I was not a nice person, to be honest. And my problem is that creating success is not that kind of an issue. We just hit our first launch, like 1.5 million. I found out yesterday. I don't know how that happened. That is like business alchemy as well. But I tend to destroy myself in the process of creating like abundance. So I gained a lot of weight. I will not sleep. I will be in panic mode. And what happened yesterday, just after making the step into being a one-on-one client of Spencer, stepping into Legacy, what was super amazing is I calmed immediately down after taking the Flow State program. My calendar looks like a dream come true. And I was the one in the call. Like, I have to share this with you. I'm the one preparing for stress. Like next week, I already blocked critical task because I got that wrong. I thought I had to prepare for critical task, even though I had nothing to do next week. And Spencer just said, what is it like next week? Why is everything like green and orange? What are your tasks? And I don't have anything to do. But why did you plan for it? I'm like, I just thought I need to be prepared for the next round of stress. So that was my pattern. That was so funny. I left my ass off, to be honest. And this week is super orange. My team knows this. But after this, like, I'm so confident. I'm already sleeping so much better just after the call yesterday. So you see my excitement. I'm just like so much more me only after 2 days. So I love this work. It's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your share. Yeah,
My pleasure.
I really wanted to, like, I sent you a Voxer this, I sent you a Voxer last night because Alicia's in Germany, knowing that you would, wake up to it. And I asked her like, hey, after just doing this one time, just share with me like just like what it is that you experienced. Because as we all know, as soon as you step into a program, usually it's it's a little bit clunky. It's a little bit awkward. There's an adjustment. It's actually a little bit more stressful when you start. But it goes to show for those of you that are high performers, like this is an absolute lifesaver. And is Cam on here? Cam, are you here, man? Oh yeah, there you are, homie. So Cam has been a part of our Level Up program, I think for like 4 or 5 months now, dude. And when I met Cam, he was very accomplished as a copywriter, like very just like highly recommended and respected, and was just filled with just oozing with talent. And as soon as we started working together, we started operating in this new way. And Cam, I was just wanting you to share like what your experience was, the before and after.
Yeah, first of all, how's my sound?
Fantastic.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, when I started working with Spencer, I was a total disaster. Like, I was a mess in like every way, and I didn't know that there was a way to exist that didn't come with 10 out of 10 levels of stress and overwhelm, like all the time. And the best story I have of this is about a year ago in April of 2019, I was on a coaching call with one of my friends, and we were talking about overwhelm just in this coaching container. And she kind of piped up and was like, yeah, I've actually known Cam for a year and a half, almost maybe 2 years at that point. She's like, and I've never seen him when he's not like maxed out with stress and like totally overwhelmed. And that was a year before I started working with Spencer. So it didn't get better from that point. So when I met him and we started working together, I actually started writing some copy for him because he was doing some stuff and had a massive spurt of success, needed help with copy. So I started writing for him, and he saw like the chaos that was my workflow and my calendar, and like had the compassion to reach into my life and like pull me into a coaching container with him. And it sounds absolutely insane to say that like my mental health, stressed all the time, overwhelmed, like you added anything to my plate and I just was like, I would just collapse from the stress and everything would go in a million different directions. And just implementing really, really basic things, schedule things you need to do on your calendar, put things that are in your head into one place. Like these really small things that seemed kind of silly, everything they've shown you on the workshop so far, like have changed my life dramatically. Like I would, in income wise, I would get stuck at like 10 to 12K a month. And basically in June, my wife and I wanted to buy a house. I didn't have the down payment at the beginning of the month, but because I had a workflow system and I had support on marketing in terms of ideas, put together a promotion, blasted it out there into the atmosphere, and I had the down payment before the close. And that never, ever would have happened if I didn't have the ability to take those strategies and those ideas of, oh, here's how I can make this money, and actually put into a system to make it happen. Otherwise, it just would get stuck. I would get frustrated. I would have gotten crushed. Like, never would have happened without like Spencer walking me through that. And one side effect of, there's been a lot of side effects, but I think one side effect that's really important to mention is at the beginning of this process, when Spencer gave me like the Trello board and I dumped all the stress in my brain into this thing, it was like a million things long. It was just like obscenely long. I was just like, every time I had a thought or an idea, I would go to my Trello board and I was going to that thing like 3 or 4 times a day to just put things into it. And now I find myself having an internal filter on what actually needs to be recorded. And I will go to my Trello board like 3 or 4 times a week now, instead of like 3 or 4 times a day, because now my ideas, I have a filter for what's actually good quality, and just in general, my brain is much quieter, much quieter. And so it makes it easy for me to identify what the actual issues are, what the actual mindset blocks are, instead of just spinning around in overwhelm. Like my burnout cycles used to last months, and then they lasted weeks, and now they last days. So they still happen,
Right.
but it's much. And I know when I'm BSing myself a lot more now. Like I am much more aware of like, oh yeah, like this struggle I'm facing is totally fake and I just want to wallow for like a day.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to fix that. But I know when I'm like in that. So
Yeah,
there you go.
the awareness of knowing when you're in breakdown, because it is going to happen. When you have that awareness, you're always a single iteration away from getting back to center and crushing it. And that's one of the things that I've seen the most in UCAM. It is, like you said, like the burnout used to last months, and now it lasts days, and it doesn't break you. You simply are just aware of it. And I've watched UCAM just like, continually improve the way that you manage your day, the way that you manage your week. And one of my favorite stories is Cam had an idea of a new framework of how to write copy called the Story Economy, which is stellar. And he got this idea, as so many of us do, is like, oh, I'd like to create a program around this. Like, who here has had a great idea that wanted to turn it into a program? How many of you actually accomplished that task, that milestone of turning into? And then the next question is, for those of you who have, how long did it take? Cam did it in 6 days. From conception to selling it was only 6 days, because he had this workflow process. So I want to show you one more thing, which is like how to actually only work 4 intense hours a day, and get everything that you need done. So the way that we've built the Level Up group is like really systematic and very simple. If you can see here, this is everything that we do in our community. As you can see here, we do our weekly imprinting on Sundays, and then we've got these deep work sessions. So in these deep work sessions, these are where you bring your most critical tasks. And in our community, you show up on a Zoom call, and our head coach Sam, shout out to Sam, is there, and Sam asks you, what are you here to accomplish? And it's like, well, I'm here to write my sales page. Great. How long is that going to take you? It's going to take me 2 full hours. Awesome. What assets do you need in order to create that? I need Google Docs. Do you need anything else? No. Shut up. And then we go through the same process that we went through here today. But our coach actually takes you through that, because it's one thing to, execute this just on Sunday, but when you make these frameworks a way of being, the level of smoothness is just continually increases as you start to function in this way. Ultimately, on its highest level, what this system does and what we take through, what we take people through in Level Up, ultimately is designed to rewire your brain to build a new relationship to creation. And when you get these small iterations, small continuous iterations of doing that, you start behaving in a new way and become massively efficient. So once you enter the Zoom room, Sam asks you, what are you here to accomplish? What assets do you need? And then he puts you into a focus room. And that is where you go into that focus room and you accomplish, you do what you set out to do until you're done. And then you come out of the breakout, focus room and say, okay, I accomplished this. And the way Brad has built his day is he does his most critical tasks during the deep work sessions. And that's his work day. Everything else is just like appointments and simple tasks. And one of the things that you said to me, Brad, like when we first started working together, we had to deal with your overwhelm. And then I caught up with him, and I was like, hey, how you doing? You're like, I'm so bored. I have so much time on my hands. I don't know what to do. So we create a space, a sacred space, a dojo for to rewire your mind to operate this in like regular cadences twice a day, so you can get the accountability and implement the framework for you to accomplish the things that you need to do. And that's why I say our Level Up program, it's 3 months long, it's 5K. And if you can't turn 5K into 50K in 3 months by increasing your focus like this, then you need to reconsider your strategy. Like you need a better strategy, and like that should be the next thing that you focus on. Because once your workflow is on point and you are in integrity, the only variables are time and strategy. And so if it's taking more time than you want it to and you're not getting the results, at that point you need a new strategy. But so often when things aren't working, we think we need a new strategy, when in fact what you need is integrity. One of the cool things that we do as well in the Level Up program is when there is a critical task, we have all of our clients tag support@spencerburnett.com, and then it magically gets turned into an accountability post. So let's say you've got to. Is there a reason I'm logged out of everything? I think God's mocking me with how efficient I claim to be. So whenever you have a task, for instance, William had to take notes on his AK video. So 10 minutes before your task, you're supposed to initiate your task, there is a post that you get tagged in saying, hey, it's time to start this thing. Let us know when you're on it. And if you don't say that you're on it, then we hunt you down and ask you were committed to doing this at noon. What were you doing at noon? What were you paying attention to? Why was that more important? And that's where the mindset that's where the mindset work becomes really, really effective, because we can figure out what went wrong, take what went wrong, and then bring it back into a new way, a new way of doing things. So let me see here. So that is the workflow workshop, everybody. I'm going to give you guys one other template that I have here. Let me pull this up. The questions that I asked of how much joy do you experience? How well did you follow your calendar? How, all those questions. They're in this form here. So you simply can go to spencerburnett.com/weekly imprinting and fill this form out every single week to help keep you focused. If you are to execute on this and something is still not working for you, then I want to strongly encourage you to go to spencerburnett.com/apply, hop on a call with me, and let's figure out what additional support that you need. When you implement everything that I talked about here today in your weekly planning, I promise you that everything will get better, because really what this is a byproduct of how the brain functions, and making it binary. And then when success happens, how do we amplify that? When failure happens, how do we alchemize that into a new way? So when you implement this, you are going to become insanely more efficient. Now, there are opportunities for us to support you on a much, much deeper level. We can do everything from coming into your entire team and help you implement this and help you exercise this workflow process and work through the challenges that you have, throughout the day. Because the moment that you start planning, and you start getting clear, then the real emotional mindset problems actually, start up. If you're an individual that is looking to take your business to the next level, and you're a high leveraged individual that's doing high ticket coaching, then maybe working one-on-one in our legacy program might be the best for you. If you just need some additional support, and you want a community, and you want to actually go through this Sunday process with us every single week, and you want mindset support, and you want the accountability in those deep work sessions, it might be best for you to get support with us through Level Up. And if you just want to take this type of training and take it to a whole nother level, and be shown how I set up my dashboard, how I set up my bookmarks, how I set up my workspace, how to set up all of your technologies, how to do all this reframe work, then getting into the Flow State program might be best for you. And that Flow State program also comes with a 90-minute session with me to help you integrate that. So if you're looking to get additional further support to optimize your day, to focus your mind, get organized so you can wake up and kick ass and have fun, then go to spencerburnett.com/apply. And we'll have a conversation. The call is free, and we will discuss what the best option is for you. Because I really like to, the reason that we don't offer our offers directly here is because I really want to make sure that you're matched with the proper offer. There, with Alicia, when I talked to you, I told you I wasn't even going to offer you Level Up. I was like, yeah, I mean, you get Level Up when you're part of Legacy, but it's no, you need some one-on-one attention. And then there are other clients that they want one-on-one attention, but it's not really necessary. I've turned down tens of thousands of dollars just because it wasn't the right offer, and I wanted to make sure that person was getting everything they need without it being more than they need. So even to work out what your next steps are, we can do that on that call as well. And so that is it. That is the workflow workshop, everybody. In addition to, I want to thank you all for showing up. In addition to this call, you're going to have lifetime access to this recording. So you will receive a recording of this tomorrow, and then on Friday you'll receive the credentials for you to to have this as a product. So for those of you that are tech savvy, we're going to put this into Kajabi and actually make it into a product so you can access it on a regular basis and go through this process every single Sunday for yourself, and you can have this review. In addition, if you know anybody that is looking to take their business to the next level and could use some support in their personal workflow, in their efficiency, in getting more of their time back and getting more of their life back, then please share this training with them. This training this fundamental training is what we do with all of our clients, no matter what level we work with them in. And for those that apply it, it is absolutely life-changing. And it is my mission on this planet to create and give people the tools that will help them amplify their excellence, their impact, and their business and income. So thank you all so much for coming to this training. For the sake of yourself, like commit to following through with this, because once you start to be able to trust yourself, you're able to take bigger risks. And when you take bigger risks, you take on more responsibility, and the abundance that you receive in your life is in direct proportion to the responsibility that you're willing to take. And if you take on a ton of responsibility with a workflow mechanism that's weak, it will break you, and you'll be crushed by your own success. I've seen it happen so many times, and it's why I'm so passionate about teaching these things, because so many great entrepreneurs have been crushed by their excellence expanding bigger beyond their capacity to handle it. And when you pay attention to the detail of operating your day and making sure nothing slips through the cracks, you're able to build a business that has like stability. So when you do get those opportunities you get the opportunities and the gasoline is poured onto your company and you start to blow up, it doesn't break your machine. We're so focused on growth, and growth is fantastic, but it's worthless without stability, because the growth suddenly then turns into chaos, which can then, crumble your business to the ground. So thank you all very much for showing up. Hopefully you got out of this training what you were looking for. And now we'll open it up to Q&A or just comments. Like we could just, jam. We've got another like 15 minutes before we take off, before the time box is done, because I will stay in the integrity of 90 minutes of training and 30 minutes of Q&A. So. And you could just, you don't gotta like raise your hand or nothing. You could just go off mute if you want to say something.
Looks like Andrew's got too.
I just want to apologize for not bringing cake for everybody that was on our live, me and Spencer. I promised cake. I brought a green juice, so that was good. So that was healthy, but I apologize to everybody for not bringing cake. That's my bad.
You're forgiven, Andrew. Next time, put it in the Trello board. Get it in your calendar. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, I should have delegated the task to somebody on my team to get cake. So, my bad. I'm sorry, I fucked up.
Forgiven, homie.
Yeah, this was awesome, Spence. Even though being inside your program for the last 3 months, I still learned something new in terms of the workflow and like optimizing the workflow to better plan, to be more effective, to be more efficient, to eliminate wasted clicks, wasted time, wasted task switching. And like, I'm just so grateful. Me and Jackie were just like watching the training, and we're like, I'm just so grateful I'm in the fucking program and I get to jam with you on this even more. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Brad. Your presence in Level Up has definitely raised the vibration of the entire group. you definitely bring a certain energy, and I love the vulnerability that you show up with too. And with Brad, with you, like your vulnerability has turned into your power once we integrated the awareness of integrity. And so like, so proud of you, dude.
Hey, so Spencer, I'll just mention something really quick. I don't know if other people in the program feel the same way, but it's really hard to imagine how life was before being part of the Level Up program. It's just unbelievable. I'm like, how did I live? You know, how was I getting through my days? And for anyone listening, I have 4 kids and I have 2 businesses and starting a third one. And there's just a lot to juggle. And so Spencer has really been, and everyone in the program too. I don't want to take away from, you know, Sammy and all the other people that are supporting. But Spencer has been a really great pillar to kind of lean on to help push forward and feel like I'm making progress instead of just being stuck in the same old loops.
Yeah, thanks for your share, Paul. You know, when me and Paul first got introduced, you know, to each other, he had 1,000 questions of like how the program worked, and you know, is this going to work for me? Because you know, I am like a single guy that doesn't have, you know, a wife or kids and stuff like that. And, you know, Paul has, you know, a beautiful family and a number of businesses. And, you know, and what I share with him is like the thing that is universal is time. Like we all have 24 hours in a day. And what I really wanted to support you in, Paul, was like how to better manage that. And through our work together, not only have you opened up your time and met all of your responsibilities, but you're also starting 2 new companies at the same time. So or you went from like overwhelm of a singular thing to starting 2 new projects that are really exciting and promising and making incredible progress in such a short amount of time, man. Super, glad that you're here and part of Level Up in the Legacy program as well. And yeah, you're a freaking rock star, man.
Yeah, Spence.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up, man? I just love the fact that I mean, you and I touched base a couple of times, and I'm not enrolled in any program yet, and yet you're still checking up on me to see how I'm doing. Like I really appreciate that. Like there is a vacuum a little bit of, oh, there's no new episodes. Hey Stan, how's the podcast going? I'm like, dude, I appreciate you checking up. And the timing is like super super funny because now I'm actually getting involved in an actual business. Like I'm starting to build something from scratch, and I'm involved in a lot of different men's groups and coaching spaces. And all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna start to get overwhelmed here. And then I see your email, like, come check out this workshop, and I'm like, boom, here we go. And so now I really do feel confident now that I can step into building this from the ground up with my current resources, and like I already like just feel so much better about it. And so like when I get to that point where it makes sense to where like I can come on board, I'm like, here we go, now it's starting to come together. I can easily see where like how I can start to grow this. So I just want to say, like, I appreciate the workshop. Like I got a lot out of it.
Awesome, dude. Josh wrote on there that Stan did an incredible interview with me on his podcast, and it was like you as a podcast host is incredible. I was so impressed with you, man. And yeah, Stan, you've been to Precise Language Live a number of times. You interact in our free group, and I super appreciate your share. Like you feel like a client although you're not enrolled in any of our paid programs. And that's really the way that we run our culture here, is that as soon as we connect with someone, they're our clients. What level they're on as a client is up to you. But the way we treat people is like we are looking out for your well-being. Because like here's the reality, guys. Like sales, money, it's growth of business, it's all fun, it's all exciting, it's all very nice. But at some point it's just more on the pile. What really matters is like humans. Like there are people behind the sales that you make. There are people behind the emails that you send. There are people behind the Facebook profile picture. And we want to build our community through intimacy. And that is one of the main reasons that I enrolled in Seven Figure CEO with Andrew, is what he demonstrated to me as a strategic coach was how to scale intimacy. Oh my God, like that was like a dream come true. I didn't want to listen to someone who was sitting next to a Bentley that they rented, next to a house that they Airbnb, hearing about how rich they are. Like, money's great, but like connections is like life-giving. And so I love that, everyone from, Paul and Alicia, who are in the legacy program, and Stan, who just comes to our free stuff, and now to this, everyone feels equally as loved, you know. And so, mad shout outs to like my team, my internal team of like Sam and Josh, who are, interact with all of our clients. We make sure that you all feel like supported, taken care of, get your questions answered, give you the support on the level that you're requesting it. And massive shout outs to Andrew and Seven Figure CEO. Like, homie, like your what you taught me and my organization is what played a huge part in making all this impact that everyone's talking about, that they've received, possible through your coaching. So for those of you that are looking for a strategic coach to build a scalable business around your gift, there's no one better than Andrew Cruzy. No, not even close. Better than Andrew Cruzy. He is absolutely, he's absolutely the best. And he upsold me into his highest package. I was first going to buy his $5,000 package, and then Brad sold me on the $25,000 package, and then Andrew sold me on the $60,000 package, and and I more than tripled my money from the network alone, not just the teachings, just from the connections that I made, and in the community that I was in. So mad shout outs to my team and to Andrew's team.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And there was a quote that I actually heard this morning from, I always listen to podcasts in the morning. I'd listen to Alex Hormozi's podcast, great podcast, The Game. But the quote that I heard from him was, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. And the value of what Spencer provides is the workflow and the accountability. I haven't seen another program with the accountability. And you can learn all this stuff, but if you don't have the network, you don't have the people that are pushing you to actually implement it, it's not actually going to get done. And that's the beauty of Spencer's program. Like Cam here is part of Seven Figure CEO as well. When he joined Spencer's program, we saw things take off. Because Spencer was able to add that added level of accountability and workflow and everything like that. So if you guys have been working on all of these different things and it hasn't finally lined up, I bet you it's because of the accountability. And that's what Spencer's able to provide inside of his programs. And I've like, Brad works with Spencer as well, and Brad's on our team, and he's just a fucking machine. It's absurd how efficient Brad is. So if you guys have teams, like bring Spencer in and his team as well. We're going to hire Spencer for a VIP day, I hope. We'll look at the offer, but bring his genius in to make our team more efficient. So yeah, I just need to mention that. I'm done with the bromance right now. We don't need to throw back and forth niceties, but I needed to say that. So Spencer, thank you so much for everything that you do, brother.
Appreciate your share, Andrew. Prior to joining joining Andrew's program, I was a part of Alex Moscow's Congruent Coach program. If you want to learn how to sell high ticket and run events, like, again, no one better. And then I became a coach. And through my experience of being in masterminds and coaching in masterminds, developed this program to be an accelerant for people that already have great strategies that need support in implementing them. And so for those of you that have programs like Andrew's or masterminds and stuff like that, same as I did with Andrew and I did with Cam and I did with a number of you. If you want me to come in and support your community by giving them trainings, also just go to spencerburnett.com/apply and let's hop on a call. Let's talk about it. We've got 2 minutes left and I'm seeing that there is a question from Sarah. Let's see here. Biggest tip to someone who still has a regular 9 to 5 and working on your own business. Okay, so in that scenario, it's actually exactly the same. So in your 9 to 5, it depends on what your 9 to 5 is. Excuse me. It might just look like 9 to 5 is one time block of work, but after work, it's even more important for you to maximize your time through proper action planning and workflow, because I've been there before where you've got working 9 to 5 or odd jobs in my case, and I always say support the hustle until it can support you. Support your business through your 9 to 5 until it can support you. And when you get into that practice of executing on your side business while you have the 9 to 5, as soon as you shift gears into stepping into your business full time, you will have the habits, the organization, the focus to be able to grow and scale that quickly. All right, everybody. 30 seconds left.
I just want to say with 30 seconds left, I just met you today, Spencer. Freaking thank you so much for hopping on the call. And I'll pick that bromance right back up and I'll say, Stan, thank you for introducing me to Spencer. I appreciate both of you. And yeah, man, this is going to be a very interesting, fun ride.
Awesome, dude. James, it was a pleasure meeting you today. I have fun on all of my calls, but there was something just very very illuminating about our call. You've got an insane gift, brother, and I hope that I get to play a part in helping you bring that gift to the world. And hopefully this workshop helped. All right, everybody. That is all for today. Thank you so much for coming. I was so excited about this, and I'm so excited to hear all the success stories from everyone that implements this. And for those that implement it and still struggle, you can always go to our Facebook group and make a post there and get the answers to your questions there, or hit us up in the chat. We're always here to support you, no matter what level we're working on. Whether you're paying us $100 grand or you're in the free group, you are part of our community, and we are here to support you. So much love to you all. Thank you so much for showing up, and I will see you all soon. Peace.
There you go, brother. Thank you.